Hey friends, welcome back to AI Empowered, the complete guide to AI in your personal and professional lives. Today, we're going to be taking our conversation forward about how to improve AI output through a specific framework of giving it what it needs to give you what you need. This is the prompt engineering framework that transforms generic AI conversations into those really professional outputs. It's a 4-pillar system that we'll be discussing today. So what if the reason that you're not getting good AI output isn't because it's limited, but you are not communicating with it effectively? By the end of this video, you'll master this 4-pillar framework so that you can consistently get those really transformative responses from AI that you can use in your life or profession. Just apply these 4 pillars in every single one of your prompts to instantly enhance your output. So the first pillar is clarity. So eliminating that interpretation guesswork. The second pillar is specificity. Give it granular requirements. The third pillar is context. So providing strategic background information that we talked about last module, and constraints. So the professional template structure is as follows. I need specific deliverable for specific audience to specific purpose. And then the context is situational background, audience, organizational information. The requirements, content specifications, that methodology guidance, and the quality standards and requirements and constraints. So you're saying what you need, what the situation is, and the purpose, and then you're giving it context, requirements, and format. So this prompt architecture ensures you never miss that critical element that might give you bad AI output. Okay, so this is another prompt engineering technique that can really enhance what you're getting immediately. Beyond the 4 pillars, there's some advanced prompt engineering techniques that can really take you to the next level. So some of these include a few shot examples. So you're going to ask it to provide 2 or 3 examples of the desired output before asking AI to create something similar. You're going to create a foundation of content and then feed it in as an example of what you're looking for. It's enhancing the amount of context that you're giving AI by using AI. The trick is to understand what you're looking for. You give it a prompt that gives an output that is serviceable, but then you take that output and you feed it into another conversation with AI, and then that really enhances its ability to understand what it needs. Providing these examples can really give it that next level of understanding. Another really powerful technique is the chain of thought. And this is one of my favorite as an operations professional, because I'm constantly thinking about the process in which we do things within a business or even in our lives. I'm a bit of a freak when it comes to breaking down projects in my life or profession into little packages that I'm trying to accomplish so that it creates more than a sum of its parts. And you can do that with AI. You can first request step-by-step thinking for AI, which can help it to break down the tasks that you're trying to do. I found that it's actually better for you to examine the process of what you're trying to do, breaking it down into logical steps in which AI is helping you every step along the way, or as much as it can. An example of this is, let's say that you are writing a thought leadership article on how to use AI. Well, you really need to break down what it takes to write that article. You need to do some research. You need to create a perspective. You need to create an outline. You need to expand on that outline and write the actual content. And then you need to edit and revise. So I've just identified 5 different steps in this process which need specific considerations when working with AI to get the best output. So you could just say, hey, AI, write me this article on what I need, but it's going to jam all those processes into one too complex, too vague process, and it's just not going to give you what you need. But if you break it down and have it help you do the research, the outline, and so on, every step of that journey is going to be way better, and you're going to get a way better result than if you just handle that all by yourself. I know that was a long-winded example, but you can tell that I'm passionate about this chain of thought because it really comes down to breaking down a task into manageable pieces, finding out what you need at each step in that process, and getting the best quality you can every step of the way. It's a really powerful way to improve not just the AI output, but the quality at the end of that chain. I use it all the time, and it's the most powerful tool that you can have. Knowing yourself, knowing what you need, and knowing every step that you need to take to get there. If I can leave you with one thing in this video, try to apply that to everything you do, even without AI. You'll see your life totally transform. So we'll move on to a role-based perspective. So this is similar in that you say act as an expert and collaborate with me as that expert. You're going to have a real deep conversation. It's going to be incredibly insightful into what you need if it's acting in that way. And then finally, this is another really powerful tool. It's just iterative refinement. You start with that foundation and then request specific sections for improvements and start to tweak. And those little tweaks might just get you where you need to be rather than just giving up with subpar results from the previous one. So don't stop, push through that sort of frustration, and you can unlock that level that is really going to achieve the output that you want. So I was going to give you an example. As an experienced management consultant, analyze our customers' retention challenge. Think through this step by step. 1, identify root causes. 2, assess impact on business metrics. And 3, recommend solutions. Here are 3 examples of the analytical framework I prefer, and then provide examples either that you've made or the AI made in a separate conversation. Format as executive briefing with clear action items. So you can see how we've asked it to think step by step. We've even given it some steps to go by, and then we give it examples to follow. You can see how these advanced techniques start to really act as that enhancement to your own capabilities. So you can take your expertise and that nuance and that judgment and all the things that you've developed in your career and apply them in these advanced techniques, and people will be absolutely blown away that you've gotten the output that you have from AI. I promise you that. So another key piece to this that I think you should develop as you work with AI, and I've said this before, but I'm going to labor this point because AI is unlike every other technology that we've used. AI is a reflection of yourself through this technology. You need to understand how you communicate, how you work, what your needs are, and then you're really going to be able to build that best practice for yourself. Everybody is going to have different needs when it comes to AI. So building a systematic approach to understanding yourself and those needs is really going to enhance what you're capable of. So build that prompt library, create these reusable prompts that work for you, and use your voice and your strategic and analytical thinking and your processes to really give you a structured framework so you can just plug and play all these different use cases, and you're just going to further increase that productivity. So find specific tasks that you like to work with AI on and start to build out prompt just for that and have them grouped together so that you know either this is for, let's say, a meeting preparation, and then you go through the prompts that you use for your meeting prep, and it cuts down on time and increases quality. or analysis or market research or any other role that you find yourself in, to start to group together those prompts that work for those tasks. And I'm sure you'll find that your productivity just goes through the roof. When you're writing these prompts, you're going to be giving it context. And that can be a painful experience because it's going to need a lot. You're going to need to write out extensive details on yourself or your role, your business, or the team structure, or other nuances that you're navigating within. So when you write out a big piece of context that may be applicable in another prompt, copy that, put it into that context library so that you know, okay, oh, I'm talking about my role. I'm going to put in the context that is directly related to how I operate within the business. Or this is the ideal customer profile. We want all of our marketing copy targeted at that ideal customer. So keep this in mind, and you just plug and play that ideal customer. One of my favorite things is I give it the context of my professional background, my writing style, and my voice, so that when I use AI, it almost acts as a reflection to myself and incorporates all of that context into everything that I'm working with on it. It's a really powerful way to just cut down on that time that you spent before creating that context. I also find that when you create that context, it really deepens your understanding of yourself and all the things that you're building that context on. You're growing alongside the AI by understanding yourself, your role, the world. You're building that context in your head as well. And in parallel, you both can just blast off into a deeper and better understanding of what it is that you're doing and what you need. A well-organized prompt library is key. I can't tell you how many times I've made prompt libraries and don't use them because they're hard to navigate. So keep it simple. Just make an Excel spreadsheet with the different categories and contexts that you need and just make them accessible. It's not useful if you don't use it. So make it easy to access and easy to plug and play so that you can really achieve those productivity gains. So I just want to talk about sort of a roadmap that you could take to this approach, because we've just talked about some more advanced techniques. So it may take some time to practice, but you now possess this framework that separates the basic prompt engineers to the really advanced prompt engineers. And you're just going to unlock that level and grow alongside the AI. You're going to find that it's getting a better understanding of you. You're getting a better understanding of it. And you're just going to be able to achieve so much more when you're working on these more advanced processes. Master this 4-pillar framework and then move into professional advancement. Start to break down your role, what you need, and start to build those chain of prompts. Apply that immediately, just see how it goes, practice with it. When you find that level of complexity that needs this stuff, you're going to be glad you have these techniques, because it'll allow you to actually work with AI, whereas you're just going to get frustrated with the basic techniques and not be able to really get what you want. I hope you learned something with this module. You're really building that understanding of what AI is, how it works, and now these advanced ways in which we can work with it that turns you from that beginner to that expert. Once you start to feel the power that you have at your fingertips with these sort of techniques, you feel like you can do anything. If you can break things down enough, you can use AI to do projects that you never would have been able to do without it, take on more passion projects that you lacked knowledge or skills in before. So really try to use these techniques to take your life to that next level, or your job to the next level. Serve your manager or your company or your customers in ways that you couldn't serve them before because of the constraints that you were working with without AI. So share some success stories down in the comments. I would love to hear any sort of advanced techniques that you have on this stuff. Prompt engineering is not just a buzzword. It is a real practice, and it's an art form. So I'm not telling you there's only one way to do it. I've just provided some information on some of the ways that I like to think about it. but I really want to learn from you as well. So let me know what you're thinking. I want to grow alongside you and see the exciting ways in which you're using AI. We'll be stronger as a community when we share these ideas and sort of an emerging strategy forms on the best way to do these things. So again, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll see you soon for episode 4. Thanks again.